Everybody, video here for you today. Now, after I made this video a week or two ago, Mystery of the Giant City Stone Ruins in Illinois, I had a lot of comments. Have you ever done a video on the old stone fort ruins in Tennessee? Well, no, I haven't. Actually thought I did there for a while, but I looked, no video on this place to be found, so I'm going to do one today. Right down here is the Old Stone Fort State Archaeological Park. They think this place might go back 2,000 years. Reminds me a little bit of Fort Ancient in Ohio. I think there's another place called the High Fort in Ohio, but that's what this reminds me of right down here. Here's an old diagram of what they call the Old Stone Fort. 40 acres up on top of this rise. I don't think it was much of a fort, just kind of an enclosure that surrounded this area here. Had to be important to the people. They say this might have gotten going around 2,000 years ago, 1,500 years ago. They're just not sure. Right down here it says Ancient Canal. Find that interesting below the fort here. And then right down here they designate a mound found off the southwestern side of the old stone fort, as it is called. Also on the map it says dam and falls and paper mill. The water power enabled people to come in here and build a mill in the 1800s. Here is the remains of the mill. This has nothing to do with the stone fort ruins, but it's on the site here. And here's a set of falls below the archaeological site here. Here's the entrance into the old stone fort. You notice they have some what they call pedestal mounds on the side here, smaller mounds. I will leave a few links below. It says the old stone fort was built during the Middle Woodland period, about 1,500 to 2,000 years ago. Native Americans used this area continuously for about 500 years, eventually leaving it abandoned. By the time European settlers arrived, it was unclear of what the area had been used for, which resulted in it being misnamed as a fort. 1966, the state of Tennessee purchased 400 acres and named it the Old Stone Fort State Archaeological Park. Here's a look at the trail system going through the park here, and I believe this is where they go through the wall that is surrounding this whole area. Here is a look. You are standing on top of the enclosure wall. Gives you an idea how big it is here, but that's surrounding the whole place here. Here's an interesting look at the wall when it was sliced open here. Appears to be full of large stonework here. And then either time or they covered up themselves with dirt. Not really sure the process here. Here are some artifacts found at the site. A fiber shoe, gorget. Here is an effigy pipe. That appears to be an effigy pipe down there too also. Here is a museum artifact found at Old Stone Fort. A mica hand, a hand print made out of mica. Pretty cool. Here is an old canoe found at the site. Here is what they call a raptor effigy pipe found at the site. That appears to be very well made there. Here is one sign at the park talking about the moat. It says early antiquarians studying the site referred to this feature as a moat due to its proximity to the old stone fort wall and the assumption that a true fort was the site's purpose. But this is an abandoned river channel. And they just tried to say it was a moat because they thought it was a fort. That makes sense. They also have a museum here. That's cool. You can look at the items found at this archaeological site. One thing that should be pointed out, and literally pointed, is what is this facing here? This is kind of on an outcropping that kind of comes to a point. Does this point at a specific date? Kind of like Serpent Mound does. Remember Serpent Mound? That point points at the sunset on the summer solstice. What does this point at right here? Well, let's take a look. Here's a point at Old Stone Fort. Let's look where that sun comes up on June 21st. The summer solstice. Well, is this place aligned with the sunrise on June 21st, a very important day? Same alignment day as Serpent Mound. It appears that way to me. Is that a coincidence? I doubt it. Here is a sign at the park, the Eastern Gateway, the only gateway evident in the walls. And that point is pointing to the summer solstice sunrise. Well, glad I could help them out there with what this place is all about. But there was a lot of theories who was first here. And human occupation here goes back about 8,000 years to when people first started settling here. It seems people liked camping at the same places all the way through time. But there was a lot of theories who was first here, and people said giants or the Vikings, and there was a lot of theories until they did the radiocarbon dating here. After the studies were done in 1966, they figured it was the middle Woodland period that built these ruins up here. And I know there's a lot of names for different periods in ancient America. It says radiocarbon analysis of charcoal samples found within structure walls, all dated to approximately 30 to 430 AD in the Middle Woodland period. Well, that is the video on the old stone fort ruins in Tennessee near Manchester. Does that point at the summer solstice sunrise? Well, it apparently does. But these ruins, maybe 2,000 years old, had a lot of questions, messages on this place. Here's a look inside of that wall. Here's another look from the area. That looks pretty interesting right there. Stuff growing on top of the stones here. That appears natural, but is this natural right here too? That's an interesting pic. That is a video on the old Stone Fort State Archaeological Park in Tennessee near Manchester there, Duck River. I might have another one from Tennessee coming up in the near future, also from Ohio. Hope you thought that was interesting. You all have a very safe day.